village of Murtana, about 13 kilometers 8 mi inland from the east coast of Asia Minor and some 8 kilometers 5 mi of the Sestrislakshu River. It appears that anciently, according to the Greek geographer Strabo, this river was navigable as far as Perga. Geography, 14, IV, 2 however, nearby Italia on the coast of Pamphylia seems to have served as Perga's harbour and, in time, even displaced Perga in importance. Compare Act 14. 24-26. It was to this city that the Apostle Paul and his associates came early in the course of his first missionary journey. Act 13. 13 Toward its close they spoke the word in Perga, but whether any of the populace accepted Christianity is not known. Act 14. 24-25. Pergamum Perga Middle. Citadel. Acropolis. A Mysian city in the NW part of Asiatic Turkey, Asia Minor, and the location of one of the 7 congregations to which the Apostle John addressed letters as recorded in Revelation. Re 1. 11. 2. 12-17 The city was about 80 kilometers 50 mi of Smyrna modern Izmir, and about 25 kilometers 15 mi from the coast of the Aegean Sea. Close to the site of ancient Pergamum lies modern Bergama. Pergamum was originally a fortress on a steep, isolated hill between 2 rivers. In time the city spread into the valley below, and the hill became the Acropolis. History. There is uncertainty as to the origin of the people of Pergamum, but some evidence points to a guy in Greece. By 420 BCE the city was striking coins, and in the next century Xenophon made mention of the city. After the death of Alexander the Great, it became Parto Textoi Acute Miritra Longo, Pirida 608 Gods Battling Giants. Picture, Volume 2, p. 945 The sick from all parts of Asia flocked to Pergamum, because of its temple of Asclepius, the god of healing and medicine. An especially noteworthy aspect of religion in Pergamum was its worship of political rulers. The city built a magnificent temple for the worship of Caesar Augustus. Thus it was the first city to have a temple dedicated to the imperial cult. During the days of Emperors Trajan and Severus, 2 more such temples were constructed there, so that the Encyclopaedia Britannica calls Pergamum the chief center of the imperial cult under the early empire. 1959, Volume 17, p. 507 Such worship of the Roman Emperor doubtless served politically to weld all the various conquered countries of the empire together under a common god. They could each worship their local or national gods, but all must also worship the emperor. Where the throne of Satan is. In the Apostle John's letter to the congregation in Pergamum, he mentioned that the city was where Satan is dwelling and that the Christians were thus living where the throne of Satan is. Re 2. 13 The phrase has been referred to the complex of pagan cults. But the main allusion is probably to emperor worship. This was where the worship of the divine emperor had been made the touchstone of civic loyalty under Domitian. New Bible Dictionary, edited by J. Douglas, 1985, p. 912 Since the martyrdom of Antipas is mentioned in the same verse as the throne of Satan, Antipas may have been killed for refusing to worship Caesar. Perhaps an additional factor bearing on the identification of where the throne of Satan is was the prominent worship of Zeus, or Jupiter, the chief god among all the pagan gods and goddesses. Legend said that from the hill where Pergamum was built certain gods had witnessed the birth of Zeus, and the immense altar located on the Acropolis is considered one of the marvels of the age. Persons worshipping Zeus could have other gods, but were to view them as subordinate to him. The Christians in Pergamum were commended, though, because they held fast to their exclusive devotion to the true God, Jehovah, and did not deny the faith despite dwelling where the throne of Satan was. Teaching of Balaam. However, in the congregation there was the undermining influence of those holding fast the teaching of Balaam. Re 2. 14 This expression calls to mind the Mesopotamian prophet Balaam, who, after unsuccessful attempts to curse Israel, suggested using pagan women to draw male Israelites into the lewd worship of false gods. As a consequence of the resulting sexual immorality and idolatry, 24,000 Israelites died. New 25. 1-18. 1 Co 10. 8. See Balaam. Evidently some in the Pergamon congregation, those holding fast the teaching of Balaam, were condoning fornication. Jude 4, 11. 2 Pe 2. 14, 15. Some in the congregation had also been influenced by the teaching of the sect of Nicolaus, and they were urged to repent of that. Re 2. 15, 16. Pirida P. Riada separated. Forefather of a family of Solomon's servants, some of whom returned to Jerusalem with Zerubbabel. NE 7. 6, 7, 57. The name is spelled Perida at Ezra 2. 55. Perizzites Zites. One of the tribes that inhabited the land of Canaan before the Israelites occupied it. GE 13. 3-7. 34. 30. X 3. 8, 17. They are not mentioned in the list of 70 families after the flood, which names the families of the Canaanite. GE 10. 15-18. Their ancestry is unknown. The Perizzites were one of the tribes whose land God promised to Abraham's seed. GE 15. 18-21. NE 9. 7, 8. At the time of the Israelite conquest of the Promised Land, Perizzites lived in the mountainous region of Canaan. Jos 11. 3. When the tribe of Judah moved into its assigned territory, it defeated the Perizzites and the Canaanites at Bezek, which appears to have been W of Jerusalem. JG 1. 4, 5. Jos 24. 11. After O text to acute miritra longo, persecution 609. The purpose in the latter instance being to stamp out such beliefs and prevent their spread among new converts. The Hebrew verb are half and the Greek oko, which mean persecute, can also be rendered pursue, chase. X 15. 9. De 1. 44. Row 14. 19. Lu 17. 23. Persecution takes various forms. It may be limited to verbal abuse, ridicule, and insults to ch 36. 16. Act 19. 9, or it may include economic pressures re 13. 16, 17, bodily injury mal 27. 29, 30. Act 5. 40, imprisonment lu 21. 12. Act 16. 22-24, hatred, and even death. Mount 24. 9. Act 12. 2. It may be promoted by religious authorities Mr. 3. 6. Act 24. 1, 27, or it may be carried out by uninformed persons GE 21. 8, 9. 4. 29 and ignorant ones 1T1. 13 obey unreasoning, fanatical mobs. 4. 28, 29. Act 14. 19. 17. 5. But often these parties are only the agents of more powerful and sinister instigators. Unseen wicked spirit forces. F6. 11, 12. In the original prophecy at Genesis 3. 14, 15, Jehovah God foretold enmity between the serpent and the woman and between their respective seeds. The Bible as a whole bears witness to the fulfillment of this prophecy. Jesus clearly identified the serpent as Satan the devil and at the same time told those persecuting him that they were from their father the devil, hence of his seed. Descendants of Shem through Eber. GE 10. 26-28 Sheba's own name and those of some of his brothers are connected with locations in Arabia. See Havlano. 4. Hazarmaveth. The kingdom of Sheba was located, according to some sources, in the area of what is today the Republic of Yemen. Its capital was evidently Marib, about 100 kilometers 60 mi of Sana'a. Before nautical improvements made navigation in the Red Sea less hazardous, trade from Arabia and possibly Africa and India was largely accomplished by means of camel caravans through Arabia. Sheba dominated the caravan routes and became renowned for its traders of frankincense, myrrh, gold, precious stones, and ivory. The Bible indicates that these traders reached as far as Tyre. As 27. 2, 22-24. PS 72. 15. Issa 60. 6. A clay stamp unearthed at Bethel provides material confirmation of commerce between Palestine and Arabia. O textoid acute muritra longo, Shebna H 913 Shebania Sheb middle.nir. 1. A priest who played a trumpet in the procession that accompanied the Ark of the Covenant to Jerusalem in David's day. 1 Ch 15. 3, 24. 2. A priestly paternal house that Joseph represented in the days of High Priest Jeshua's successor Joachim. Ne 12. 12, 14. In a generally similar list of priests who returned with Zerubbabel in 537 BC.